Hello, Pisces. Thank you for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. I want to say Dune, but I'm pretty sure it's Dunn. Anyway, that's how you spell it. I just want to make sure if you want to find that person, you can find them, their work, their stuff, whatever. Supportive Oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. I'm not even going to butcher Gretchen's name because I probably could quite well. I want to say it's Reich Baskin. Maybe it's not as hard as I think it is. Reich? I'm screwed. I'm sure I butchered it, but there you go. Again, same thing. If you want to find that information, those people, their work, that's how you spell their stuff. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, what do we got going? I say this as a Pisces myself. All right. Where are we going, Pisces? That's not... Okay. Like, there's this spot coming up. There's this big open spot. Alright, let's see where it's going. So you're coming into something you feel like you're meant to be a part of, but you got guilt with it, I'm noticing. The Soulmate card, like, I'm not just one to go into the rote routine of like, oh, this soulmate, let's fall all over ourselves, yay. No, I'm not that. What I'm feeling with this is saying, whatever the situation is, it feels like, it's kind of like those people who, like, when they become a parent, they're like, well, this is what I was meant to be here for, it just fits perfectly, or, you know, when you find your niche in life, you're like, this is what fits me perfectly, this is what I'm here to do. It could be connected to one of those relationships that's very close. I wish they had called this something different, because this energy feels different to me. It feels more like a kindred spirit energy, which doesn't have to be connected to a person. It could be connected to a situation, to where you're like, this fits my soul perfectly. This is exactly what I like to do. It's kind of like those people who just, they sing naturally. It just comes right out without a problem. It's like, I don't know. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. It's like, this is that energy that fits you perfectly. But there's guilt with it, saying whatever it is you're doing, and it could be a person, without making this more complicated. Whatever it is you're doing with it, it's kind of like you're enjoying something. You're feeling like it's exactly what you need to do, but something about it is making you feel guilty for doing it, or guilty for being a part of it. Even though it fits you perfectly, that's what I'm getting with that Soulmate card. The face down energy is the Prince of Wands. Something flits in and out. It constantly flits in and out. It's face down, but when I pop it over, this is an energy, like, usually it's like one and done, or it's like in and it's gone. It's here, then it's gone. It's hello, how you doing? Okay, gotta go. But this energy is what I'm feeling is kind of like, especially since it's face down, it just kind of keeps popping up out of nowhere. Your day's fine, everything feels good, but all of a sudden this energy keeps popping in. I feel like this has something to do with the guilt. For some of you, this could be an attraction or something you have to deal with a person, and you're just kind of like, I shouldn't be hanging around with them for whatever reason, but you still do it. This is almost like, I feel like for some of you, this is almost like an inappropriate work connection, which does not have to be sexual at all. But like, I've seen this happen before where, you know, people are very friendly and they get along very well. But like, one of them could be up in the hierarchy, and one of them's kind of like down in the normal everyday grind. Like, it's not a lower level position, but maybe like a regular worker, and the other person's up higher up, and they get along very well, but they got to keep it quiet, because if people know they get along, then people get jealous, and they're like, oh, they're going to get an unfair advantage. What is this person telling that person? You know, blah, 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 blah. So they got to keep it very quiet. And I'm getting like with this face down card, and I'm wondering if this is another connection. Like, there's a connection with something you're feeling guilty for. You're feeling like somebody's holding it over you, or you got to keep it quiet, you got to keep it secret. things just randomly pop up. You randomly hang out with somebody, or you randomly have something to do with this situation, but there's guilt about it. Like, you have to keep it secret. All right, as we keep going forward, this other energy is trying to solidify itself into the situation. There's a lot of like confusion here, because it's going to lead into confusion. But what I'm getting, first of all, the energy in the environment, whatever this thing is you're feeling guilty about, it's trying to solidify. It's got the King of Pentacles energy. It's kind of like, no, I'm here. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be a part of your life. This feels good to you. You're trying to find a way to balance it. It's almost like that. I feel like I want to go with this inappropriate work connection, which bothers me because this is a very man-made situation. Kind of like because of corporate rules, certain people are not allowed to hang out or be friends because it makes other people feel insecure. So, like, it's almost like money is overriding spirituality in my opinion. It's kind of like you're letting your job decide who you will and will not be allowed to hang out with. That's money overriding spirituality, in my opinion. Because your heart's saying, I like this person, I resonate with this person, but the wallet is saying, you can't do that, you'll get in trouble. Something like that is there. I'm really feeling that for somebody. Like, that's really coming in. Like, it's very conflicting. But you're trying to find a way to, like, mix it and kind of, like, maybe we can be seen hanging out here or there where it's not a big deal. I feel like for whoever this is, it's really like a friendship where somebody's like a kindred soul. Like, you really resonate with that person, you like being around them. I don't feel like it's sexual. I really don't. But you're trying to find a way to make it kind of meld without it being a problem. And it seems to meld pretty well. The thing is, you really do get along with this person to the point where it's obvious. Like, you smile, you get along, you're very cheery, your energy is uplifted, their energy is uplifted, it's just a natural click. And naturally, like, I feel like you knew, that energy of despondence comes in. People have to have a fit about it. It's interesting to me when people get jealous, because I feel like there's a jealous energy around you. They'll use whatever they can to their advantage. So it just happens to be like the situation itself they're using at this point. But if it wasn't that, they'd find some other reason to give it a hard time. Because I feel like the connection between you and this person, there's jealousy around that. And I'm getting the despondence kind of like, there's no problem here. There's nothing inappropriate happening. Nobody's crossing any lines. Nobody's doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. Like, there's nothing moral in question here. There's just people being jealous and causing problems, and I feel like that's causing you issue. People are wondering, the person that you're connected with here or situation, it's kind of like, and I just got this with the mysticism there. Mysticism? Yeah, mysticism and bittersweet. It's almost like also another version I'm getting with this is like some of you are into what I'm into with the reading the cards, but you're like, I'm in a very prominent situation, or you're in a very high-level medical situation and it's looked down on, because I've seen this happen. That doesn't always happen, and I know that. But like if you are out there with like liking mystical stuff, or looking to the cards for possibilities and seeking out possible answers and researching that based on like saying, oh, this could be the problem, check down this road, and then finding validation down the way, like to validate it is either true or not true. If you're known to do that, people will kind of like scoff at you or be like, oh, that's not cool. I feel like that's another version of this. It doesn't have to be the medical field. It could be anything where you're in a situation where people expect you to be very analytical, but when they find out you have an otherworldly viewpoint as well, and you're willing to consider an otherworldly viewpoint to consider other options, to open your mind to possibilities, people could scoff at you or kind of be like, ooh, how do you make your decisions? Like, are you just like rolling the dice and whatever comes up, you go with that? Which is not the case, but sometimes people view it that way. I feel like I'm going on about this for a minute, but like, for example, when I take advice from cards, I keep going and I think about it, but then I look for validation. Is this really happening? Is this not really happening? Does it look like this is true? Does it look like something's not matching? I just don't go with it, and I just don't go with it haphazardly, but I'm like, I look for validation or invalidation to see if it's actually going that way, and I remember I'm the one making the decisions. Don't know why we're going down that road, but there you go. But whatever it is, it's coming forward that there's issues here, and people are having an issue with it. Bittersweet is telling me that, like, not everybody has a problem, but there is some scoffing or something, like, oh, look what the Pisces is doing, like that energy. The Three of Swords in the center with the Faith is kind of like, there is some stress between you and whatever this situation is, be it a person or a situation, whatever it is that you feel good about, that you like being a part of, that you kind of keep private, that's kind of become a little more public. I'm getting that there's some sadness with it because you know people are judging it, but the Faith is kind of like, just keep going forward. I'm hoping it's going to work out. It'll probably pan out. Maybe it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. You know that some people have an attitude about it, but maybe it won't be that big of a deal. There's a big open spot here, but you can't see because you're not seeing the table. I see that. I know that. But like for a long period of time, it just seems to kind of be uncomfortable. It seems to have this energy where, the same energy I was just talking about, where you're not really happy with it, but you're kind of like, I guess it could be okay. Maybe I'm just a little oversensitive about it. Hopefully I'm just a little oversensitive about it. Hopefully. So, as this keeps coming forward, sooner or later you're going to hit this moment, is what I'm getting. And you got to be careful. Because somebody's calling you out on whatever the situation is. And you got Victim, Six of Cups, and you've got the Tower card. It's like out of nowhere, someone is going to call you out on this situation when it is least expected by you, but it benefits them the most. Someone's going to try to use this situation against you. Now, in this situation, the Victim card is actually, I feel like this is a positive thing because it's saying don't become the victim. Acknowledge things, but step away from it. And maybe in certain cases, they're saying maybe you don't need to acknowledge things. You just, maybe the most you have to say is like, that's not affecting the situation, and keep moving forward. And that's all you say. That's my personal business. That has nothing to do with this, and move away from it. Just like a minimal recognizing of the situation, but not letting somebody use history against you. Be careful. I feel like this is a positive card. I'm still kind of like shaken by that. But they're saying don't let this energy overcome you, because once you step into it and you feel this way, it can kind of be like, it kind of reminds me of like getting an ink spot on your clothes. Like it just kind of soaks in and goes blah. If you get your Tide pen out real quick and you clean it up, you might be okay. But if it sits there or it soaks in and it dries, you're kind of stuck with it. So like don't let this energy sink in. Don't let this soak in. And as a Pisces myself, I understand what that means in the sense of like, once that energy kind of gets a hold of you, like it's acknowledging it, then like cleaning it up quick and not letting it make a home there, not letting it make a home in your heart at all. Because it's going to shock you and it's going to make you be like, oh no, they're using my history against me. Somebody's very passionate and they have something they want and they're working this to get what they want. It's not even, I feel like there's some falsehood. There's a very notable falsehood here. They're basically using things against you to get what they want. So if you discount it or walk away from it or just keep moving away from it, I feel like you'll be more successful because someone is going to have to win out with trickery here. And I know that may sound kind of, I don't know how that sounds. You're either subject to this person who's got a lot of passion and trying to work it to their advantage, or it's you. One of you is going to use some trickery to your advantage to move this forward. And not for nothing, the way I feel about it, and this may be a very, I don't know, you just have to take it with a grain of salt and decide what you think. If somebody's going to play unscrupulously against you and be underhanded, I just don't feel like it's fair to play honorably against dishonorable people. If they have to use nasty tricks, it's just kind of like walking around it. I don't know. It's hard because I don't think you want to do that situational morality thing, but you want to like disconnect their ability to use that against you. You just want to like, you know, if you have to be, I don't know, how do I put this? Because there's trickery here, but I don't feel like you have to lie. I feel like it's getting around the situation and just kind of, instead of waiting for them or giving them a chance to answer, just like shutting it down and pushing it forward before they have a chance. I feel like that could be the trickery, and I don't feel bad about it. Like if somebody's coming at you in a disrespectful way, I just want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. You push it back quick and then move it forward. Like push it back and move it forward, and that's it. They don't get a chance. You don't give them a chance to rebuttal. They already came at you in a disrespectful way. So you push it back and you move it forward. Like, you don't get a chance to rebuttal what I'm saying. This is the answer to that. You started this off disrespectfully. So it's kind of moving it on in a disrespectful way. But to me, I don't feel bad about it. I feel like that's the trickery. Especially when it comes in with the Princess of Wands. That's action. I feel like that's what they're saying. Don't give somebody the ability to start manipulating and being nasty, especially when they're being unscrupulous. I don't feel like they're owed that. I really don't. Typically, when somebody says something, you respond to it. You give them a chance to respond back. But this does not feel like an honorable energy. It does not feel honorable at all. I know that's the trickery I'm feeling. So I don't know. You have to decide how you feel about that. If it feels a little bit trashy or bad, or if you're like, well, no, that makes sense. You just push it back and move it forward quick. Like, there's your answer, stuff it, bye. And that's it. That's it. Yeah, I'm feeling that victim card especially. Don't let them make you a victim. Don't accept that. Just clean it up quick. Clear it off. Like, it's going to take, like that Tide pen. It takes a minute to dry, but that's fine. When it dries, it'll be fine. Move it forward. Push it back, move it forward. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from that. And you should be okay. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.